It is not a wise decision for the continent of Africa to be in the United Nations Security Council without a veto power. Why would the United States of America and a few other countries be suggesting that countries on the continent of Africa should get a seat at the United Nations Security Council without veto power? This does not make any sense at all. The decision whether to accept such second-hand participation in the United Nations Security Council should be the decision of countries on the continent of Africa. Our point on this matter is, if the continent of Africa cannot be given a permanent seat with veto power, then they should leave such an offer and remain at the position they are in the United Nations. But if the continent of Africa can get a permanent seat with a veto power, then they should take it. Again, we would use this opportunity to call on countries on the continent of Africa to work hard and join the BRICS nations. Doing so would give them more economic prosperity, and when Africa's economy is sound, every other issue would fall in place nicely. This is the true reality of life which we are appealing to all countries on the continent of Africa to adopt. What made NATO and those supporting the war in Ukraine continue believing that they could defeat Russia? We pleaded with NATO and their allies, saying that a peaceful solution should be found to resolve whatever differences Ukraine may have with Russia instead of going into war. But all the parties involved refused because the United States of America and other countries promised to supply President Zelensky with the latest war machines to fight and defeat Russia. Now that the war has been there for some years, lots of innocent lives and properties have been lost, which is so sad. As it is now, after the destruction of so many cities in Ukraine, the German government, as alleged, is now calling on various parties involved to seek a peaceful means to resolving the issue so that the war can end because things are getting out of control. If President Zelensky had listened when great thinkers advised him not to go to war with Russia, there would not have been a single bomb dropped in Ukraine. Russia is a great country and a giant that can never surrender to Ukraine. The mistakes had already been made, which would also serve as a lesson to other countries in the world, who may be planning to go to war with their neighbors, to always have a rethink before embarking on such a journey because the end may not be favorable to both sides. Again, we would use this opportunity to plead with Russia to accept a peace deal with Ukraine so that the war can end. So many families have lost their loved ones because of the war, so it is time to let it go. Let peace reign. Pope Francis offers refuge to Myanmar's detained leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, providing sanctuary within Vatican territory. Pope Francis has offered Vatican territory as a refuge to Myanmar's detained former leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, and called for her liberation during a private conversation with Jesuits on his recent Asia-Pacific tour. He mentioned that he had asked for her release and received her son in Rome, expressing the Vatican's willingness to receive her. The pontiff stressed the importance of not staying silent and taking action regarding the situation in Myanmar, where a military junta took power after a coup against Suu Kyi on February 1, 2021. Suu Kyi, who has been imprisoned and faces a 27-year sentence on politically motivated charges, remains in detention. In response to the Pope's offer, her son Kim Aris expressed gratitude to Pope Francis but doubted that the junta would consider such a request. President Putin has made it clear that Ukraine can never join NATO. That is his stand on this issue. President Putin's stand concerning the war in Ukraine is that, for him to stop his campaign against Ukraine, Ukraine will make an undertaking that they shall not join NATO. President Putin allegedly made this declaration recently. He also stated that before he could sit and discuss peace with Ukraine, this condition shall be met. If not, his campaign against Ukraine will continue. He also said that Ukraine will be a neutral country, which in our opinion is not too much to ask for. So we are appealing to the United States of America and its allies to kindly take this condition which President Putin has given for peace to reign. Again, human beings have lost their lives and properties in this Ukraine war, therefore let there be peace in Ukraine and around the world. This is our appeal to the United States of America and the NATO member countries. We also believe that the world would be a better place to live and do business if there is no war anywhere in the world. So let all countries around the world take this option of peace and do the needful. If you want in-depth analysis on politics and good governance, subscribe to Viewers Corner News and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for watching.